Of all the award shows, the one that seems to have the most prestige is the Academy Awards, which are more commonly known as the Oscars. But why do they call it the Oscars? Well, it's not confirmed, but legend has it that someone who worked at the Academy thought the statue resembled her uncle Oscar. And that's why they call it the Oscars. Now, in this video, we're going to take a look at 4 things. The cost to make an Oscar, how much you can make if you sold an Oscar, how much more money a movie will make at the box office for winning Best Picture, and how much impact winning an Oscar has for an actor's earnings. Now, if we take a look at the Oscar statue itself, it's not solid gold, but if it was and still weighed the 8.5 pounds that an actual Oscar weighs, it would be worth about $180,000 and would look a lot smaller because gold is very dense. Instead, it's gold-plated bronze with an approximate worth of $629 according to Thrillist.com. And here's an interesting side note. Due to metal shortage during World War II, Oscars were made out of plaster and were painted. But after the war, winners could exchange those trophies for the gold-plated versions. Now, let's say that you won an Oscar and for whatever reason you wanted to sell it to make a buck. Well, turns out that's exactly how much you would get for it, $1. And that's because it's part of the rules of the Academy. Anyone who wins an Oscar is not allowed to sell it without first offering to sell it to the Academy for the sum of $1. Now, that being said, this rule didn't come into effect until 1950, so any Oscar awarded up to 1949 can be sold on the open market. So as an example, back in 1999, Michael Jackson bought the Oscar that was awarded for Best Picture in 1939, which was to Gone with the Wind, for an inflation-adjusted price of over $2 million. And here's another interesting side note. Golden Globe Awards can be sold openly. The value for a trophy will depend on the cachet of the category and winner, but according to MoneyNation.com, A-list celebs could sell their Golden Globe Awards for $100,000 or more, but lesser-known actors may only fetch a few thousand. Okay, what is the impact of a movie winning an Oscar for Best Picture? Well, according to CBS News, winning a Best Picture Oscar would increase the box office revenue by an average of $14 million versus non-winning films for the period after the awards were announced. But in what looks like a more robust analysis, Edmund Helmer from BoxOfficeQuant.com says that you need to factor in release date, since not all movies come out just before the award season, and other things like a movie's total share of box office receipts before and after the awards season. And so according to him, winning an Oscar for Best Picture is worth only about $3 million. But winning the Golden Globe for Best Picture is worth about $14.2 million. So why the extra bump for the Golden Globe? Well, one possible explanation is simply that Golden Globes happen first, and if you win a Golden Globe, you're more likely to fare well at the Oscars. And finally, let's take a look at Thespians. Thespian is another word for actor. One study from Colgate University found that the average salary increase for an actor winning an Oscar was $2.3 million. However, there was a huge gender effect. The average increase for men was $3.9 million, but the average increase for women was only $550,000. So indeed, Hollywood still has a long way to go in that regard. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and if you want to learn more about all things money, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.